we will be constructing the centroid of the triangle. And something important to remember is that a centroid is the point of concurrency of the medians. Now, the trick with the median is that a median by itself is fairly complicated to construct. It is the line segment that connects the midpoint to the vertex. So what we actually need to find before constructing the medians are the midpoints, and then we can connect them to the vertex. So we need midpoints. A midpoint is created by a perpendicular bisector. So before we can create the midpoint, we need the perpendicular bisector. To create the perpendicular bisectors, take your compass, put the center on one vertex of your triangle. You need the distance, the radius of your compass, to be more than halfway to the other side, and you draw an arc. Now, using the same size for your compass, flip the corner, or the center, to the other vertex of the triangle, and draw the same size arc. And they should cross and make some sort of a football shape in the middle. And with that football shape, you connect the two intersections of the arcs. There is our perpendicular bisector, which means this point right here is our midpoint. Now the trick is that the median connects the midpoint to a vertex, and it's not the vertices to the left or right, it's the vertex across the triangle. So the median, although this line is the perpendicular bisector, the line we actually want connects the midpoint to the vertex. The median is this line here. Now what we need to do is the same thing a couple more times. So we start, and let's use a pencil this time. Switching colors can help you keep track of which construction you're working on. And we put the center of the compass on a new corner. Let's do this one over here. Now right now, notice the compass does not go more than halfway to the other corner. You're going to miss your football shape that way. So you got to make it a little bit bigger, so it goes more than halfway to the other vertex. And you draw your football shape. Now flip the center of your compass over. You're going to do the same thing from the other corner. Now the pencil creates a football, and be real careful to keep track of which intersections we're dealing with. The pencil crosses here, the pencil crosses down here. And we get another perpendicular bisector, which means we have another midpoint right here. Now again, the perpendicular bisector is not our end goal. Our end goal are the medians, which you get by connecting the midpoint to the vertex on the opposite side. Right there. Now notice they do cross, and that's going to be where the median hopefully ends up, but we got to make sure that that is where our third line is going to hit. It is possible to have two of them cross and look perfectly normal and still be incorrect. You still want the third median just to check. So switch to the third color, red this time, and we do the third side. Now again, here this might be more than halfway, but it's awfully close. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger just to be sure. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So we draw our arc from the corner. Switch to the other vertex. So notice we're using both vertices twice, and when you use the red versus the blue from this corner, they don't have to be the same size as long as both red arcs are being used with the same size. Now the red football crosses, so we draw our perpendicular bisector. (90°), congruent marks. Keep in mind, so our blue line, our red line, and our pencil do in fact cross. And that is an important point, but that's not the point we're looking for. Keep the end goal in mind, and the end goal here is to create the medians so we get the centroid. And the median goes from the midpoint, this point right here, to the opposite vertex. So from here across to the opposite vertex. There's our third median. So we have the blue one here, the pencil here, the red one here, and if you ever have trouble, it's always okay, for example, to grab a highlighter. There's one. There's the second median, and the third median. And they should all cross at one point, and that one point where they do cross, which happens to be right here, is called the centroid. Your three medians should, when you have all three constructed, cross at exactly one point called the centroid. If your medians do not all intersect at the same point, well then that means at least one of your medians has a mistake in it somewhere. You can always go back. My suggestions would be to make sure that you are connecting the correct arcs and that your compass size did not change from football to football or within each of the three footballs. But drawing all three medians is a sure way to make sure that your centroid is exact. All three medians should intersect at one point, the centroid.